This is Jeff, one of the founders of PlanningPod, and now we're going to take a look at how to use the Contacts tool inside of our application. Before you can invite someone into your account to collaborate, before you assign them to an event, even before you can assign them to things such as to-dos, you first need to create them as a contact. So we're going to click on the Contacts tool right here in the main navigation bar. The Contacts tool works very much like an address book tool does in many other applications. For example, you can create your own contact groups and assign contact to groups. And we've also created some automated filters right here so you can immediately filter contacts by things like leads, clients, and vendors. To create and manage contact groups, you simply click on the Manage link right here. And that enables you to add new contact groups that you can then assign contacts to. So I'm going to create a few new contact groups. I'm going to create a group for networking partners. I'm going to create a contact group of venues that I work with, as well as rental companies, and finally caterers. Right now, the default contact group when I first open up the contacts area is the all group, but you can change that by clicking on the radio buttons there that say default list to set another contact group as your default list that you see when you first enter into the contacts tool. And here are all my new contact groups. If you need to add a new contact, you simply click on the red Add New Contact button right here. And if you click on the More button, this opens up other options. For example, you can manage labels for your sales pipeline as well as referral sources here, which I will cover in the video for lead tracking and leads. However, you can also add custom fields to the contacts form. So I'm going to click on that so I can add some custom fields to my contacts form. I'm going to add a customer number field, and I'm also going to add a birth date field so that I can enter that information in for my contacts. There are a couple other options under the More button. First of all, you can import contacts from a CSV or a vCard file, which I will show you how to do in a little bit. And you can always export your contacts out to a CSV file. Now let's add a new contact. So I'm going to click on the button here. And at the top, you can flag or assign this contact either as a vendor or as a lead or a client. And when you flag a contact as a vendor, lead, or a client, those contacts will show up in the filters links over there under groups. I'm going to not flag this particular contact as a lead, client, or vendor, but I am going to assign them to the networking partners group. And then I'm going to start entering in their contact information. And we do provide fields for adding some of the most popular contact information items. Note that we do have drop-downs like this where you can designate like what kind of address or email address or phone number is associated with a particular piece of information. And I'm just going to fill out the street address here. And also note that a primary email address is required for each contact because we do send out notifications from your account for things like to-dos, to-do reminders, and calendar reminders. And you can also add additional emails or phone numbers by clicking on those buttons there. Another thing to note is that in a few places inside of our application, you can send out text message reminders. However, to do this, the contact will need to have a mobile phone number associated with their contact listing. And here are those two custom fields that we added to the contact form. So I'm going to fill out this contact's birthday and customer number. And you can also add a custom field for this particular contact only if you see fit. And I'm just going to add in a prospective or tentative event date for this particular contact in this field here. And finally, in the bottom of the form, you have the opportunity to type in notes for a particular contact. I'm just going to dummy that in right now. And make sure you hit the save button. Now I'm going to click on the contact we just created to view their information. So here is all, I've got the option to delete this contact right there, but here's all their information. And if I click on the address right here, it will pull up a map so I can see where that contact works in this case. And if you ever need to go back in and edit that contact's information, you can just click on the edit profile link right there. And for example, I'm going to add a photo for this particular contact. Just going to upload that right now. And once that's done uploading, I'll save the contact again. And now their photo will be displayed with their contact information. The other tools that you can use that are within the contact include the ability to give the contact access to your account, and you would start that process by clicking on the Manage Access button. You can also add contact activities for a particular contact, and what this really is the ability to add tasks that are associated with this contact. A lot of people will use this for like lead tracking activities. So I'm going to click on the Add Activity link right there. And now I'm going to create a contact activity to remind myself to follow up on a proposal that I've sent out. I'm going to create a due date for this particular contact activity, and then I will select my contacts who need to be reminded. And an email notification will be sent out on the morning of the due date to the assigned contacts, reminding them that they have this activity that they have to follow up on. And I'm going to add a quick note here for this contact activity to remind me of what I need to do. And once I'm finished, I'm just going to click on the Save button at the bottom. And now when you scroll down, you can see the new contact activity that we just created right here. It will tell me when that activity is set for, as well as the people assigned to it and the ability to edit and delete it. And not only will the two people assigned to this activity receive an email on the morning that the activity is due, it will also show up on their dashboard. The next tool here is you can add files that are associated with a contact. So you can upload files right here. I'm going to click on the Add Files link. I'm going to click on that box to select my files, and you can upload things like documents, spreadsheets, images, and anything else that relates to that particular contact. For example, you may have a contact who is a vendor and they have pricing lists and brochures, and you can add those documents and items right here. Once everything reads 100%, everything has been uploaded. I'll click here to return to the contact. And if I scroll down, I can now see here those files have been uploaded, and I have the ability to either download them or delete them. And finally, towards the bottom here, these areas let me know if I have assigned this contact to an event, if I have sent them a legal contract that they've signed off on, or if I have assigned them or sent them a proposal or an invoice through my account. Now, if you are new to PlanningPod, you can upload your existing contacts into our contact tool here simply by clicking on the Import Contacts link under the More button. You can upload your contacts using either a vCard or .vcf file or a CSV file. We recommend a vCard file. However, CSV files work perfectly fine too. And I am going to use my Google Gmail account as an example of exporting contacts from another account and then importing them into our application. So Google here does provide us with options for exporting contacts into either a vCard file, which we recommend, or a CSV file. And if you use other address book or contact applications like Outlook or say Apple Contacts, you can also export to CSV files with those applications too. And now I'm going to go back to my Planning Pod account. I'm going to click on the CSV option. I'm going to browse to my desktop where I downloaded that file from my Google Gmail account. And now the system will allow me to map the fields from my CSV file to the fields in our database. And you can just match those up by clicking on the drop-down menu in these particular items, for example, like right here, to match them up properly. And once those are matched up, you click on the Import button. And depending upon how many contacts you have, it may take a minute or so. I only had 4. And here are my new contacts that have been imported into my Planning Pod account. And finally, let's take a look at a few more features. If you want to do a quick search for a contact, you can just start typing in the contact's name right here, and our system will pull it up immediately for you. And the checkboxes next to the contact names here are made so that you can do things in bulk with contacts. For example, I'm going to click on those 3 people and I can either delete them, I can move them all to a group, I can set or remove the vendor flag, or I can set or remove the client or lead flag. So for example, I could flag those 3 particular contacts as leads or clients right there. However, I'm going to move them all to my networking partners group. So now, when you click on networking partners, those 4 contacts will appear there as well as in the all group. And those are the basics on how to use our contacts tool. Thanks for watching and have a great day.